Good morning. He introduced me. My name's Clay Evans. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about myself before I start talking. So I'm 21 years old. I'm coming in. I've just finished 2 years of being here at Starkville Community Church, 3 years here at in Starkville, and I'm actually a nursing major at MUW. So that's just a little bit of background into who I am. As he said, we went to Mali earlier this year for 2 months, and I'm going to show you a little bit of that, and I'm also going to share about you some of my past missionary work that I also did in Mexico. So I'm going to start with Mali. In Mali, we went there to work, and we worked with an orphanage in Mali for 2 months, and what we did there is we had an opportunity to love on these kids here in this camp, and we also had a really good opportunity to reach out to this community around the area that this camp that we were staying in. We also had several opportunities to travel out into these villages. So it gave us a really good opportunity to have conversations with the local people there and just kind of to see what the gospel was doing. And we had an opportunity to actually share a few times with people through a translator, which was really nice. And then my other experience that I've had is when I went to Mexico. I've been going to Mexico since December of 2012. I've made 10 trips to Mexico. It's in an area, it's called Reynosa, Mexico. It's just across the border. And it's actually was at one point known as the murder capital of the world. And it's gotten better and it's gotten worse over the years. But one of the things that we work down there is a lot of what we do is building construction. And we go into these communities, and that's the best way we can get in, as we help build homes for people and churches, and just kind of to build these communities up and to come in, and it gives us a door in to be able to minister with these people, pray with these people. And one of the other things we do is we come in and we do giveaways with necessary items for hygiene and food and other things like that. And so I've been going to Mexico. I've taken 10 trips down there, and I've seen a lot. But I want to share with you a little bit more about not necessarily what we did on the trips, but what the trips did for me. One of the biggest things that I learned when I was in Mali that kind of got to me is the fact that every person we encountered had a story that led up to where they were at. And I didn't necessarily know that story, and one of the hardest things is I couldn't hear that story while I was there. And I wanted to so many times to know the background of the people and what had gotten them to there. But the few people that I was able to get the story from, it was as if it was the best thing that they could have for someone to walk up to them and say, I want to know where you've been. I don't want to share something with you. I want to hear from you. And I had such a big opportunity to hear from people, especially the kids, because they were so excited to just kind of tell us what they were doing, where they were, and we got to hear their stories. And that's one of the biggest things that affected me out of that trip, is the fact that we don't know some of the people that we encounter, what their pasts are, even every day, our waiters, our servers, people that we work with at stores, or people, maybe our coworkers. We don't know their past, and we don't know where they're at, but we have the opportunity to ask them and feed into that. One of the other things is the fact that the power of prayer for me extends. I've learned that the power of prayer extends past the moment. And I've seen that from the fact that I've prayed with people in their lives, and then they'll come back to me 3 months later, and just people that I've barely even knew, and say, thank you for that I just happened to pass again at the store or something like that. And I've learned that it's those moments that if we take 2 minutes out of our day, and I've noticed that when we do that, that people remember those moments and they hang on to it, because it may seem like a temporary interruption for us, but for them, that could be the thing that they need to keep going for the next week, the next month, the next year. You never really know what those moments are. And the biggest thing I want to share with you that has impacted me over my time overseas and out in missions is it's the idea of faith. And we talk about faith here so many times as praying for what the Lord can do for us, to sustain us, to keep us going. But we have the ability to find those things to sustain us here. So many times we can be like, Lord, I need this, but I also have the backup plan to be able to achieve it on my own. So many times we're like, Lord, I need health and healing here, yet we still can go and pay for more medical bills and to see more doctors for healing. One of the things that I've noticed, specifically in Mexico, is this idea that these people don't have anything. If they don't have food, They have to have the faith to pray for food, and that's the only hope that they have. They don't have any means to go get any food, rice or beans. They don't have any money. So many times, those people don't have access to health care, so the best thing that they have is prayer and hope that someone that can provide health care will come to them. Some of them don't have housing. They've lost their families. And that's the only thing that they have is prayer for that. But the thing is that even in some of those desolate situations, these are some of the happiest people I've ever met. They are filled with hope. They are filled with love. They will give you anything that they have. Even though I have all that I need, they will try to give it away to you, just for the fact that I showed up and I came. I think so many times in an American culture, we have this idea that faith is the biggest thing I think that we need to grasp onto, is because we want to trust in the Lord, but so many times we have a backup plan for that. And I think for me, it took me through these trips to see that instead of my last step being to pray to the Lord, that maybe my first step should be to pray to the Lord in faith. And that's one of the biggest impacts of my life, is because I've noticed I've had opportunities to be able to accomplish tasks, but when I prayed first and had faith, the Lord moved when I didn't even have to do anything. And that's probably the biggest thing that I've taken out of all of my trips, is that having faith in the Lord at the beginning, knowing that He can do it, has a profound impact on the rest of the experience of the things that we need and that we go through. And that's kind of what I want to leave you today, is that faith, having faith, and having faith in the Lord first through prayer is the most important thing that we can have. Thank you.